G'day guys and welcome back to Ados the Great YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video you might ask, why are you so happy, mate? Well, I'm thrilled. Footy is back. I cannot wait. This weekend we've got 2 games of rugby league. There's actually more going on, smaller games, smaller trials, but these two, they're the big ones this weekend. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about these games. I'll give a bit of a preview and prediction for this one, for these games, I should say. And we'll go through the team list first. I'll talk about some players that I'm going to be looking out for, some young guns that are coming through that I've heard of. There's plenty of players here that I haven't heard of, so I'm going to be really excited to check out both teams. All 4 teams this weekend. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, guys. But before we do, hit that like button and subscribe. I drop rugby league content constantly on the channel. I do a lot of other stuff as well. So if you do enjoy this content, guys, please do stick around and hit that sub button. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first technically tipping video of the year. Let's go. So the first game is Friday night, 7:30 p.m. We've got the Cronulla Sharks taking on the New Zealand Warriors. This game will be at Shark Stadium. So, yeah, very excited for this one. Cannot wait. First game of the season, and let's go through the Sharkies lineup. So both these sides have named very strong squads. The Warriors definitely have named a strong squad there. For the Sharkies, Will Kennedy is at fullback, Sony Katoa and Samuel Stone Street on the wings, Mwini Hirote and Kale Iro in the centres, Daniel Atkinson and Niwai Puru in the halves. Now, I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, guys. Braden Hamlin Uwele and Tom Hazelton up front with Jaden Beryl, who is a very underrated dummy half coming through the system there. He was in the Queensland Cup, I believe, for a few years, but we'll talk about them in a second. Sifa Talakai, Billy Burns in the second row, and Oregon Kafusi at lock. The bench is Hohepa Puru, coming from the Raiders, I believe. This one's going. I apologise if I pronounce any of these names wrong. Tukupa Ki Hau Tapua in the number 15 jersey, Lockie Crouch in the number 16, Blake Hosking in the number 17, Chris Vailea. Oh, man, I'm butchering these. Kyle Pickering, Michael Gabriel, Bradley Fernley, Taj Ford, Riley Pollard, Eli Clark, I believe he came from the Bulldogs, Christian Dixon, Felix Fartilli, and Samuel McCulloch wrap up the bench. For the Warriors, Charles Nickel Clockstad at fullback, DWZ in the number 2 jersey, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the wing in the number 5, Ali Leitao and Adam Pompey in the centres. Tomato Martin and Luke Metcalf are the halves. James Fisher-Harris and Mitch Barnett in the front row. Mitch Barnett has been named captain. It'll be very interesting because I do think James Fisher-Harris will have the captaincy for the season. We'll have to wait and see. Wade Egan in the number 9 jersey. Jacob Laban and Kurt Capewell in the second row with Aaron Clark at lock. The interchange bench, Dimitri Sifakula, Marata Niakore, Mawala, Graham Tafa, Sio Kali, Edward Kosi, Luke Hansen, Jet Cleary, Tane Tuapiki, Dayon I'm going to butcher these. Amatau Nai, Iulio Afoa, so maybe in relation to Bunty, Eddie Eremaya Tuava, Samuel Healy, Dylan Walker, Tanner Stowers-Smith, and Freddie Lussick round up the bench for the Warriors. All right, so for the Sharkies, obviously they've named a relatively strong side there. A few players that, we should look out for there. Niwai Puru. I know I'm butchering the first name, definitely not the second name, I don't think. Half coming through. He looked pretty good in the trials last year. He was one of my players to watch. Didn't really play too much first grade, I don't think, last year. Maybe 1 or 2 games. He's definitely one to watch. And Jaden Beryl is another one in that starting 13. 2 young players that I think, two fairly established rugby league players now, but still, they're still rookies nonetheless. So they're two players to look out for. Niuai's brother, Herhepa, believe he came from the Raiders. He's definitely a player to look out for. Lockie Crouch, another name to look out for there. You've also got Eli Clark from the Bulldogs, I believe. So, yeah, definitely some players to watch out for. They're the ones that I'll be keeping my eye on, but I'll definitely be interested to see other players as well. Now, the Warriors, they've gone fairly strong. Now, I reckon these two teams, that they'll probably, the starting 13 will probably play the first half, and then I would say they'll empty the bench and have both interchanges play the second half. That's sort of how I see this playing out, but you never know. We'll see what happens. For the Warriors, some players to look out for. Obviously, Ali Leotawa, he is definitely one to look out for. He is underrated as hell. He's, going to be a weapon. He played some NRL last year, so I think he is going to be fighting for a back spot in that Warriors side. Jacob Laban, another one. I had my eye on him in the preseason last year. Didn't he played a fair bit of first grade, but didn't play as much as I would have expected him to. I think that'll change this year. I reckon he's going to try and cement his spot in that second row for the Warriors. Dimitri Sifakula, I believe he's had a name change. He's coming through the system. He's looking really good as well. I'm expecting to see him play a part in the Warriors 17 this year in the NRL. You've obviously got like Edward Kosey, who will probably fight with Adam Pompey for that other centre spot. Then the big one, Jet Cleary, Nathan's brother. That is very exciting. Cannot wait to see him play. Tane Tuapiki, obviously probably there to replace Chance at half time. I like the look of him. He played a fair bit of NRL last year. I think he is going to absolutely fight Chance for that spot. I don't think that fullback spot is locked in. I reckon this Tane Tuapiki, he can take it off Chance there. Outside of that, obviously you've got Dylan Walker and Freddie Lussick on the bench as well. Aaron Clark's another one to look out for, obviously coming through the Titans there. Over to the Warriors, I think he is going to want to try and lock in that 13 role. I think they're going to play 40 minutes to him and 40 minutes to Dylan Walker in the number 13, and I think they'll just fight each other in this trial match to see who gets that 13 jersey. That's my opinion on it. So, yeah, very excited for this first one. Now, who am I tipping in this one? I think the Warriors, they've definitely got a stronger 1 through to 13 for sure, like without a doubt. Even their bench, they've got, I think, more NRL worthy talent there on the bench. So I do think the Warriors win this, and I do think they get the job done quite comfortably here. So I'm going to back them in 13 plus. So, yeah, Warriors should beat Cronulla in this one. Tell you what, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed the Sharkies haven't selected Adam Fanua-Black. Don't know if there's an injury or something there, but that would have been interesting to see him go straight up against the Warriors. That definitely would have, I reckon, a lot more people would have tuned into that game if AFB was there, but it is what it is. And we move on. So the next game, Saturday 7:30. This one's also at Shark Stadium. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but well, it is what it is. So the team lists for this one. For the Penrith Panthers, Dane Laurie at fullback, Jesse McLean and Casey McLean on the wings, John Fanua and Asuka Poa in the centres, Jack Cole and Brad Schneider in the halves, Luron Patea and Preston Ricky up front, with Luke Summerton in the number 9. Maverick Geyer, Isaiah Papali'i and Matt Eisenhuth make up the second rowers and lock. The interchange bench, Trent Talau, Harrison Hassett, John Sagaga, Riley Wake, Zach Lamont, Nico Apelu, David Farley, Falefa Letoy, Billy Scott, Jackson Edgar, Zach Lepouts, oh man, I'm going to butcher these names, Samuel Lane, Billy Phillips, and Nick Murphy. Pretty strong lineup there for the Panthers. For the Raiders, Chevy Stewart is at fullback. Utulua Asumua, oh man, I'm butchering these. Jed Stewart, your wingers. I thought Jed Stewart was a number 9, but we'll get to the number 9 in a second. Albert Hopewadi and Manaya Watare in the centres, Adam Cook and Ethan Sanders in the halves, Jordan Martin and just Pasami Sulu, the front rowers, Owen Paddy in the number 9, Simi Sasagi and Matty Nicholson in the second row, and Miles Martin coming over from the Knights in the number 13. I think it was Miles. It was either Miles or Noah. One of them's come over from Newcastle. The interchange bench, Ethan Alaya, Isaac Thompson, Regan Carr, Atini Talui, Khan Skips, Jensen Taumopea, Jalen Afamasaga, Peter Tateo, Sean Packer, Jack Clydesdale, Joseph Roddy, Noah Martin, Atta Mariota, Mitchell Press, and Jackson Lavender make up the team there for the Raiders. All right, so the Panthers, some players to look out for. Obviously, the McLean brothers. Casey's really made a case for himself, no pun intended, to lock down a wing spot there. But his brother Jesse is also a very talented footy player. Casey did play for the Kiwis last year, though, so that is exciting for him. Obviously, Asu Kapoa coming over from the Tigers, I'd be looking out for him. I reckon he could lock in eventually, potentially, lock in a interchange spot there. You know, he can cover second row. He could probably cover front row if desperate, and he can obviously cover centre as well. So he's quite versatile. Your front rower, Preston Ricky, definitely a player to look out for. Luke Summerton, another player to look out for there. Maverick Gaia, great NRL name, very exciting young talent. He came through the system, played a few NRL games last year. Trent Talau, I reckon he's a good shout to get a bench spot there for the Panthers as well. Harrison Hassett, I think he played 1 or 2 games last year, looked incredible. I'm pretty sure he played at least 1 trial last year too. So I know the name, haven't really looked too much into him, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on him in this one. Outside of that, that's pretty much all I know, all I've heard of there for the Panthers. For the Raiders, there's plenty of young talent to look out for here. Chevy Stewart, definitely, he's fighting for that fullback spot. Jed Stewart, Ricky's son, definitely excited to see how he goes. Ethan Sanders coming over from Parramatta, that's exciting. You've got Owen Paddy, who is one of the hottest young players coming through the system, and not hot in the terms of looks, but hot in the terms of just exciting footballer. So I'm very excited to see how he goes. You've got Miles Martin, so all the Martin boys there. Isaac Thompson, I know a lot about Isaac. He came through the Rabbitohs the last couple of seasons. Couldn't really get a gig there. He is definitely a NRL worthy player. He just needs to be in the right system. I would have loved to see him under Wayne Bennett for a year, but it is what it is. I think he'll have a good run there at the Raiders. You've got, as I said, Noah Martin there as well. Adam Mariota. I'm surprised he's on that extended interchange bench there, but yeah, pretty excited for all this. Jake Clydesdale I've heard a bit of as well. But outside of that, look, that's pretty much it from what I've heard of these teams. Now, in terms of predictions, I think this one will be a lot closer than that Warriors-Sharks game, but I am still going to side with the Panthers. I think the Panthers have a lot of good NRL quality talent there. I'm surprised, what's his name? The young fella came from Para, Blaze Talangi. I'm surprised he's not getting a game here, but there might be an injury to him too. I'm not too sure. I know Nathan Cleary. Like, obviously, they're not going to name their full strength side, but the Warriors did, so there was always a chance they could have. But Panthers definitely have a lot more NRL talent than the Raiders team here. But I tell you what, I'm excited to see Owen Paddy. I reckon he is going to just light up this Raiders side. I think it will be a very close 1-12 sort of game. But yeah, I am tipping the Panthers there. Keen for some rugby league. All right, guys, let me know who you're backing down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for tuning in, guys. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.